Tara had always been a creature of intensity. From the time she was a girl, she lived with her emotions turned up high. Every friendship was life or death, every passion an obsession, every plan a destiny she threw herself into without hesitation. But with Bradley, it wasn't just intensity, it was transformation. She met him at a design conference in Austin. The moment he spoke, with that steady, thoughtful tone, Tara felt something inside her click into place, like she'd finally stumbled on what she had been searching for without ever knowing what it was. Bradley was different from all the men who came before. He was stable, grounded, a man who gave attention without smothering, who listened without judgment. Compared to the chaos of her past relationships, his presence felt like calm water after years of storms. But Tara didn't just fall in love. She rebuilt herself for him. Piece by piece, she reshaped her life as if to prove she deserved him. She requested a job transfer to his state without telling her boss the real reason. She taught herself to smile through sports games, even though she couldn't follow the rules. She laughed at jokes she didn't understand, ignored comments that hurt, and most importantly, swallowed the unease that rose every time Bradley mentioned a female colleague. Trust, she whispered to herself, night after night. This is maturity. He is different, and yet when his phone buzzed with a woman's name, her hands would tremble with sweat. Her heart would pound. She fought the urge to ask who it was, what they wanted, whether they were prettier than her. Instead, she buried it deep, wearing a smile that looked natural to everyone but felt like a mask to her. To the world, Tara was in love. To herself, she was already fighting shadows. Marriage made everything look perfect from the outside. They bought a little house in Fort Worth, filled it with laughter, with framed photos on walls, with whispered dreams about children. Bradley woke her with breakfast in bed sometimes, bought flowers for no reason, kissed her forehead like she was something precious. To anyone watching, they were the picture of stability. But cracks began to show in silence, subtle, almost invisible at first. The miscarriage was the breaking point. Only 2 months into pregnancy, and suddenly everything they had planned was gone. Tara didn't just grieve, she collapsed. In her mind, she had failed not just herself, but him. She didn't tell Bradley how heavy the guilt felt, how ashamed she was to even look at him. She wore her grief quietly, and in that silence, control became her obsession. When Bradley traveled for work, Tara smiled and waved goodbye. But later that night, she was scrolling through the social media of every woman he worked with, dissecting their captions, their photos, their outfits. She installed a location tracker on her phone. She searched his laptop when he left it open, pretending she was just grabbing a glass of water. She turned harmless emojis in work messages into evidence of betrayal, and when Bradley reached for her at night, she pushed him away. In her mind, intimacy became punishment. If he was guilty, and she had convinced herself he must be, then he didn't deserve her body. Still, Bradley tried. He worked fewer hours. He declined a promotion that would have taken him away. He left his phone unlocked on the dinner table. He suggested couples therapy. He kissed her shoulders and said, "We'll get through this." But Tara didn't see love. She saw guilt. Every kind gesture became, in her eyes, proof of manipulation. Slowly, the man who adored her turned into a villain, she imagined. She sharpened her suspicions into weapons, and every time Bradley reached for her, she built the wall higher. And then Derek. He wasn't a stranger. He was a colleague. Someone who had always hovered just close enough to notice her, just far enough to stay harmless. But to Tara, raw with suspicion and loneliness, Derek became something else. An escape. It started with small gestures, casual messages, a laugh held a little too long. Then one night, after a fight with Bradley over nothing, she drove without direction, heart pounding, chest aching, and found herself at Derek's door. "I just needed to think," she muttered. "You don't need to explain," he said smoothly, offering her a drink. The silence between them was heavy. A touch on her shoulder, a glance that lingered too long, and Tara fell. It wasn't love. It wasn't even desire at first. It was rebellion against her own fear. For the first time in years, she felt seen, not as the paranoid wife or the broken woman, but as someone wanted. The guilt hit afterward, but by then she was already hooked. The affair repeated. Once, twice, then it became routine. She invented excuses, long meetings, traffic jams, errands, and slipped into Derek's arms, convincing herself that she wasn't betraying Bradley. No, she told herself, Bradley had betrayed her first with his coldness. What Tara couldn't see was that Derek wasn't her savior. He was her predator. Ambitious, calculating, and jealous of Bradley's success, he saw in Tara not a woman, but a weapon. He whispered lies she wanted to believe. He doesn't really love you. He takes you for granted. You deserve better, and she believed. She repeated those words like gospel until her marriage was more illusion than reality. Then came the company's annual party. Tara arrived dressed to perfection, her smile polished but brittle. She scanned the room like a hawk, every laugh, every touch, every glance catalogued as betrayal. When she saw Bradley speaking with a confident new colleague, her blood boiled. Their laughter echoed like knives. She stormed over, interrupted with a cold greeting, and hissed sarcastically about how comfortable he looked. The colleague excused herself in embarrassment, and Bradley tried to soothe the moment with a smile. But Tara erupted. Loud enough for colleagues to hear, she called the event a shallow ego parade, accused Bradley of pretending, of lying, of being everyone's friend but hers. Whispers filled the room. Faces turned. A director offered her water, and she snapped, "Don't pat me on the head." Bradley guided her away quietly, pleading, "Please, just breathe." "Let's talk." She pulled from his hand. "Go back to your little girlfriends," she spat, storming into the shadows of the office. She unlocked a quiet executive office, her secret spare key ready, and sent one message: "Executive office." Now Derek came, and in her fury she kissed him like she was punishing someone else. It wasn't passion. It was desperation, vengeance, madness. The door opened. Bradley stood there, silent, frozen, watching. Tara's breath caught. Derek stammered, "It's not what it looks like." But Bradley didn't flinch. He simply whispered 3 words, "Stay with him." Then he turned and walked away. When Tara ran after him, pleading, begging, he never looked back. At home, the lights were off, the door locked, and on the porch, 2 suitcases. On top of them, divorce papers. The fallout was swift and merciless. News spread through the company. Whispers became evidence. Screenshots, rumors, even a photo of the locked office. Friends stopped calling. Her parents turned cold, her father's voice blunt as a knife. "You crossed every line, Tara." Even her best friend refused to answer, saying she didn't get involved with betrayal. And Derek, the man she thought cared, vanished. He left the company days later, told colleagues he felt used, painted Tara as unstable. When she finally saw him again, months later, in a cafe with another woman, he looked right through her as if she didn't exist. Alone in a bare apartment, Tara sold off her clothes and furniture to survive. Days blurred into nights, and nights into endless hours of replaying the same scenes in her head. Bradley's face at the door, the miscarriage, every laugh she twisted into betrayal. Therapy became her only anchor. Session by session, her therapist dismantled the lies she had clung to. Her jealousy wasn't intuition. Her control wasn't love. Her betrayal wasn't protection. It was fear. Fear of abandonment. Fear of not being enough. Fear that she had fed until it devoured everything. Bradley moved on. She learned through whispers and online glimpses. He had accepted a new job in another city, seemed thinner, calmer. In one photo, he was smiling beside a woman she didn't know, in a park, sunlight on his face. Tara stared at that image for hours, fingers trembling over the screen. She thought of making a fake account, of sending a message, of clawing her way back into his life. But she didn't. She closed the screen and lay in silence, her eyes burning. The greatest punishment wasn't loneliness. It wasn't shame. It wasn't even the betrayal of Derek. It was awareness. Awareness that she had everything she had ever wanted, and she destroyed it with her own hands. Awareness that Bradley had always been faithful, always patient, always true, and she chose not to believe it. Now, Tara drifts through her days in quiet suspension, not starting over, not seeking redemption, not even daring to imagine a new beginning. She doesn't blame Bradley, she doesn't blame Derek, she doesn't even blame her parents for turning cold. She knows the truth. The downfall was hers, and hers alone. And every memory of love, every smile, every kiss, now lingers as punishment, an endless echo of everything she chose to lose.